Hi, I'm Ray. I'm a freelance visual effects artist, and in this channel, I'm gonna talk about visual effects and design. In this tutorial series, I will guide you step by step through my asset creation process, and by the end of the series, you will manage to create one turntable of the space elevator. The tutorials are not very difficult and suitable for beginners. Each episode ends with a homework assignment to help you design your own assets. After the final part of the series, we'll use your custom space elevator in this visual effects shot. There are project files in a link below to help you follow along. All right, let's start with our blockouts. So before modeling the detailed mesh, you need a blockout, and blockout is kind of like 3D sketch. So you need a blockout to see how the elevator, for example, is arranged, and then you go more into detail. So it's kind of from big to small, and from rough to more fine details, right? And I have already one blueprint prepared. And some people also just start a blockout without any blueprint. That's up to the person, but actually mostly up to the budget, because depending on the time schedule and the deadline, sometimes there's just no time to do that. All right, let's open up a new Blender, and I want to import my blueprint by hitting Shift A, and let's go under image reference, go to the path where you have placed your blueprint, open it up. And as you can see, I open it from this kind of 3D angle, right? And that is exactly how not to open a blueprint, because the blueprint should be aligned to the XYZ axis. And this is just not the right angle to do it. Yeah, let's delete it. So let's do it again by hitting 1 for the front view and Shift A, reference blueprint. And now I have a blockout from the front view, and I want to copy it, Shift D, rotate it, and let's see whether these two images are perfectly aligned. The reason I'm doing that is that both perspectives need to be kind of on the same height, right? And the last one would be the top view, Shift D, rotate it by 90 degrees and push it to the bottom. And now I've aligned all three perspectives. When you finish aligning them, you can put them into a collection, organize it by rename it with the name blockouts. All right, let's move on with the blockouts. I want to start maybe with the middle column by hitting Shift A, create a new mesh, which is a cylinder. Go into the transparent modes, and I have here the wireframe mode so I can see the line. It's under my quick favorites, but you can also find it here. Recommend to add it to quick favorite because it's a very, I find it very useful. And the next step is just basic, scaling. Shift D and hit GZ to push it to the top, scale it down, go into edit modes and pull the line on top up. And another one. You don't have to be very precise because we are in the blockout modes. From the side view, I can see the shape of the cabin. And I would like to create a new mesh by hitting Shift A. That would be mostly a cube. Scale it down. So this part, I would have like a bevel. So Control B, that's the shortcut for it. And then there gonna be like a window open up, and then you can select how many bevel you want to have. And later you can further correct the shape. So let's have a look of how it looks from the top, because we need to model it from different angles, right? Hit 7, and I need to rotate my top blueprint a little bit so that it is in the right angle. More or less. Doesn't have to be super precise. Just eyeballing it. Okay. So we can see that now from the top is just like a square, my blockout, and in the blueprints, it has this kind of a bevel, right? So this time I don't want to bevel it. I want to just add edge loops. And I think it's just easier because it's a symmetrical shape. Let me just delete the left parts. And I want to add a barrel modifier, right? So like what happens on the right will happen on the left because it's just a clone, correct? And one thing to pay attention to is to, like, now is kind of open, right? You can overlap the vertices and like have a gap by pulling on it. And when I click on clipping, now, the middle part is connected, and that is kind of important because otherwise later you're going to have a lot of problems if it's kind of open or the vertices are overlapping, because it's just like really rough technical mistakes, I would say. Cool. Let's do this round shape. So I selected this line and go to the top view, Shift Control R. And with the middle mouse button, I can just scroll it until I have the right number. In this case, I think 3 is enough. I want to select these two and hit soft selection, because if I don't have the soft selection, I just can influence the dots that I select. And if I hit the soft selection, I have control over the vertices which are in the surroundings, and you can control how much influence you want to have next to these dots by scrolling the middle mouse button again, and then you can see the circle. And the smaller it is, the smaller is the influence, and the bigger it is, the bigger is the influence of the soft selection. So G, Y. All right, cool. Don't forget to shut it down once you did it. And now there is this kind of like an angle. So let me add one more edge loop and pull the whole part to this side. It is time to add this two construction which, connects the cabin with this ring. And by doing so, I'm gonna add a cube again. Hit transparent, go into edit modes. Double G to slide along edge. Let me check out this thing from the front view. And I want to isolate it by hitting Shift H. Go to hit 3. And then I just want to see some of the blueprints. And also here, I want to add one edge loop in the center, delete the other sides, and add a barrel modifier so I don't have to do everything twice. And this part is open, so I want to close it by selecting all 4 vertices and hit F for fill, thick clipping, and this part I want to hit E for extrudes and also close it, G, X. All right, cool. So this part is done. And let me, the construction underneath is almost the same. So I think we're fine. Just hit the Shift D, copy it, G, Z, move it down, rotate it by 180 degrees. Now let us check the side view. The overall shape is almost the same, so we can just do some fine adjustments and think this thing is ready to go. More time you save, the better. But seen from the sides, I think it needs some more, like a little construction to make it look more stable. We are not product designers, but we are designers for entertainment. And somehow we want to make it believable, which means that we need to make it look statically correct. It doesn't have to work statically correct, but it needs to look that way. So let me add one more column which connects this part better with the column. Shift A, cylinder. I want to reduce the size a little bit, scale it, something like that, which makes like a connection in this direction. Double G to slide along the curve, but like we want to further extend it, you can hit Alt, so it knows the path of the edge. All right, here I'm gonna click on Extrude and scale it and extrude. One more cylinder to connect everything. Shift A, cylinder. So we already finished one side and now we can copy paste it, but I don't want to do it that way, right? You do Shift D and then you kind of eyeball and put it in the right position. It's not very precise and maybe it's not the easiest way to do that. So let me connect all these parts by clicking on Control J, and that's already kind of one part. And if I want to array this along the column, we're gonna use now the modify array to do that. And if you want to use array to copy it around the center, I want to make some preparation, which is like fairly easy. First, let me check whether everything, the scale is on 1. If it's not, click on Control A and scale. So it's like going back to 1 because it's going to confuse the array modifier. And also, the origin is very important for the array modifier. So I want to have the origin at the center of our words. So let me hit F3 for search. And I already have this command. It's called origin to 3D cursor because my 3D cursor is already in the center of this word. Origin to 3D cursor. And you can see that the origin is over there. And now I want to add a empty plane axis. And the name already speaks for itself. Empty is just like an empty axis, doesn't have like a volume or any polygon in it. And I'm gonna use this empty plane axis to array these objects circularly, right? Cool. Click on the construction array. Yeah. And when you add the array modifier, that is how it looks, right? When it's like relatively offset in one direction, we don't want to have that. We want to have the object offsets. So click on deselect relative offset, click on object offset, and now let's select our objects. And when you rotate it, you can already see that there are many of the same kind coming out of it. And I need to define how many copies I want to have. And I think the best way to do that is to look from the top view. And this would be 120 degrees. And now we have two other copies surrounding the column. And with here, you can do the same principle, right? Or you can just combine it. So click on one cabin, click on the other one, and click on Control J, and it will automatically copy the array modifier, which is already in place. All right, now it is your turn. And for this assignment, block out your own version of a rotating space elevator. You can follow what I did first and then move on to your own design. It is very important to keep the blockout super rough without any details at the beginning, because the blockout will be the soul of your design. So don't add any windows or pipes or small elements yet. Just focus on the overall shape, and silhouette will handle the details in the next episode, I promise. Your elevator should have a central shaft and rotating cabins. Whether you add 1, 2, or 3 cabins, this is up to you. Same with the cabin shape. That's your creative choice. But make sure to stick to the rotating elevator idea. These limits help you finish quicker and will use your elevator later for visual effects shots. So having a similar setup will make things easier for you to follow along. I started with a quick sketch or blueprints, but that's optional. You can also just start blocking directly in 3D. And if you want feedback, send me your homework. There's a link in the description below where you can upload it. So have fun. I'm looking forward to seeing your design. That's about it for today. As already mentioned, I will drop every few weeks a new episode. Next time, we're gonna work on some detailed meshes using Blender's modifier. In the meantime, you can check out this video where I'm talking about how I designed this space elevator and where I got my inspirations from. And last but not least, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up and follow me on my channel to stay updated. Bye.